Watch this. The reason your coach's advice isn't working has nothing to do with the advice. It's about which grade level you're actually playing at. Teaching table tennis is like teaching a mixed classroom. Different players are at different levels. Some find a lesson too simple, others can't follow it yet, and some hear exactly what they need. It's like first grade math versus fifth grade math. The key is finding the piece that fits where you are right now. Next, so what do players actually want? They want concrete rules. Give them specific numbers. For example, your serve should land within 30 centimeters of the sideline and 15 centimeters from the center line. People love having a defined target zone. This zone right here is the death zone. You cannot serve with the ball landing there. Why not? Because after the bounce, the timing lines up perfectly for your opponent. Whether their stroke is slow or fast, they can meet the ball right at its highest point and loop it cleanly. Now, you might say don't serve to the forehand side, but that's too vague. You need to give specific, measurable targets. Telling a beginner just to avoid one side isn't useful, they need precision. When I say serve to the middle, I don't mean the middle of the table. I mean the middle of the person, aim toward their right shoulder. Use a left side spin serve that curves into their body. The ball hooks in right here. When the ball curves to this side with topspin, that's the ideal moment. The player chooses a forehand loop, then switches to the backhand, changing direction. Now, when you serve to the backhand short zone, the small triangle, that's the area from half the net to about 1/4 of the table. You need to visualize this precisely. The center line, the soft middle zone, your serve should land no more than about 20 centimeters from the net, no more than 15 from the side. Make it specific. Build a mental picture of these target zones. After years of playing, you should have these images mapped clearly in your mind. So avoid that dead zone with your serve placement. Push every serve toward the baseline instead. Where exactly on the baseline is best. Think of it as zones. A is the prime target, then B, then C. Now, for the receive, you can systematize it the same way. Against a backspin serve, flip it. Against topspin, use a half-long push. Against a no-spin serve, drive it back aggressively. Match each serve type to a specific response. Watch this demonstration. My partner sends a middle serve. If you can't read the spin, start by assuming backspin and flipping. If it's clearly backspin, flip. If it's half-long with little spin, push it deep. If it's sidespin topspin, attack it with a quick drive. Every serve type gets a predetermined answer. That's the system, just commit to it. Can you win or lose this way? You practice exactly like this. The opponent fears a fast, decisive receive. You feed your brain a clear filter for every ball. But here's the problem. So many players refuse to follow the plan. They always want to win right now. I tell them losing is temporary. It's a stage you pass through. If you keep chasing quick wins, you never build the habits that produce real improvement. If your flick attempt is too obvious, you're telegraphing your intention and giving your opponent an easy read. Now, maybe right now you can't execute the flick cleanly. That's exactly why you need to practice it. The biggest difference between amateur and professional players is decision-making, knowing what's reasonable and what isn't. When you shouldn't flick, you flick anyway. When you should push, you attack instead. When you shouldn't commit power, you force it. And when you should commit, you hold back. Professionals have built that judgment through millions of repetitions. Their read on the ball is precise. So ask yourself, is that half-long ball really high enough to flick? Don't just copy blindly. Watch carefully. Where does the stroke start? At what point in the bounce does the player begin driving forward? How much force is collision versus spin? And where does the ball land? Break it down. When I watch professional matches, even at WTT events, I'm studying exactly these details. The structure behind every shot, not just... Watch what happens at 9-all in a deciding game. What serve does the player choose? It's almost always something familiar, their most reliable, most practiced delivery. Even a world champion in a final goes back to fundamentals under pressure. Now look at a lower ranked match, maybe the round of 32, players you've barely heard of. Study how they handle each ball, what's reasonable, what's not, and why. That's where the real learning is. Once the rally moves into the mid-distance power exchange, honestly, you're just watching for entertainment at that point. You can't replicate it. What you can study and apply is the first three balls: the serve, the receive, and the tactical intention behind each choice. Then now consider this. Even a flat, simple-looking serve can contain variation. Say you face a left-handed player who uses a little sidespin hook serve, the ball curves and sneaks down the line to your backhand. If someone can do that, they've got at least 7 or 8 years of experience. They've specifically trained that pattern. You push deep to their backhand, they step around, that's their bread and butter zone. No matter how hard or fast you push, they can get on top of it. Maybe you can't cover the forehand side from a backhand stance, and your legs can't get you there. But you can serve short to the forehand, prevent them from attacking, then redirect back to the backhand. Their stance dictates their weakness. Against a strong opponent, force them to move. Serve short so they can't loop, push them to the backhand, then switch to the forehand. Now they're scrambling and the pattern breaks down. Know your level, define your zones, and drill the discipline to follow the plan.